Hey everybody, it's Brandon, the Weekend Cruiser, where I go on a weekend cruise just about every weekend. And this past weekend was spring break, college spring break at that. And so we welcomed 900 college kids onto Royal Caribbean's Freedom of the Seas, in addition to 300 traditional children, making up a total ship capacity of about 3,200 people. Now, if you did not know, March is college spring break. Towards the end of it is where you start getting more elementary, high schools, and then into April. But if you were going on a cruise during March, during the 1st of April, know that you are going to have a ton of college kids, maybe 900 like myself, if not more, and a lot of children as well. So there is a seasonality to spring break. Now, if you find yourself on one of these cruises, stay tuned to the end, and we're going to talk about some best practices to help you really enjoy yourself and make sure that you're having a great spring break cruise. Now, my expectations when I found out that this was going to be a spring break cruise was honestly one that was a little scary. I thought they were going to be loud, obnoxious, just being drunk everywhere and getting in my way. In reality, it really wasn't that bad. So the worst part of it was, number one, they killed the internet. So there was absolutely no Wi-Fi on this sailing, because college kids in particular, they will drain every bit of bandwidth that the ship is bringing on board. All of them have devices. They're all on social media. It's going to go really, really quick. From there, I found that the college kids really moved what I called in herds. So you would find them at different places, but they would all be there. So they were all kind of clustered in one spot. Sometimes this could be for private events that the partial charter of the college kids had put on. So they brought in their own DJ for Studio B, for instance, or they were doing their own karaoke night, which, by the way, the normal karaoke, these guys loved. They were fantastic. The energy in the room was there. They even opened up a second bar because so many people were coming into karaoke. It was one of the best karaoke experiences that I probably have ever gone to. Thinking of the pool deck. Now, this is a place that certainly the college kids gravitated to, especially on a sea day, but it was packed on a sea day. I don't think that I've ever seen that many people at the pool at one time in a very, very long time. The pool bars were also overwhelmed, and this happened often with the different bars because they would herd to that one bar and they couldn't figure out that, wait, there's 20 other bars on the ships I can go to. They would all crowd around one. The hot tubs were also another hot place. So they were always packed with people, to the point that I asked one time, is that hot tub going to fall into the water? Because on the Freedom, they hang off over the side. I was worried what the capacity limit was before it just broke off and fell into the water. Luckily, that did not happen, but the hot tub stayed extremely full from sun up to sundown. One of the funniest stories that I can tell is when we were at Vintages and one of the herds of college kids came in, and the first one just, they asked if they could get a mudslide. And so the bartender, being very kind, just said, "Ma'am, this is a wine bar." And just kind of looked at her a little bit confused. And you could see it really wasn't resonating with her what a wine bar was or why she could not get that mudslide. The second person that came up was even funnier. And she, asked if she could get a shot at tequila. The bartender responded the same way and just said, "Ma'am, this is a wine bar." To which she very quickly responded, "Sure, I'll take a shot of wine then." So they kind of missed that the different bars have different styles or different ways that they serve alcohol and liquor. Vintages does have some liquor, by the way, but it doesn't have frozen drinks. The other thing that you'll notice is that the smoking section was noticeably empty, because most of these folks were vapors and they felt comfortable doing that throughout the ship. Now, I know that this definitely bothered some people, but for the most part, it didn't bother me too bad. I would see the smoke. You couldn't smell it. So it was kind of a non-event for me. The biggest complaint or talking point that most traditional cruisers had was the dress of these young people. So it was your classic, those young people and how they dress. I will be the first to tell you that they did not wear very much clothing. If they came into the ship from the pool deck, for instance, guys would not put on shirts, women did not have on cover-ups, and even when they were going to the main dining room, which was actually their favorite place to eat, they would dress up. They looked nice, but they did not have on much clothing with these nice outfits. Their jeans, I promise you, will all have 20 different holes in them, and there were a lot of halter tops and very small, revealing outfits. Does not personally bother me, but I know a lot of people were really concerned on the dress of the younger generation. So some best practices if you find yourself going during spring break or on a spring break cruise, the first thing that I'll say is make sure that you're booking the extreme ends of the ship. So one thing that definitely happened is these college kids stayed up late and they would come back drunk and intoxicated to their rooms, and they were in the hallway at 3:30, 4:30 in the morning, and you could absolutely hear everything they were saying. So if you go to the extremes of the ship, this is really going to cut down on some of the noise that you're going to hear. Buy the ultimate dining package. Go to specialty restaurants. These folks are really in in the traditional dining locations, but it was kind of just a normal time in the main dining room. But if you really want to escape, check out the specialty restaurants. There was nobody there. There was great seating, and you would get fantastic service on the sailing. For sea days, make sure that you're getting out there early. So college kids are not waking up until 11 or 12 o'clock noon because they stayed up till 3:30 or 4:30 talking in the hallway outside of my door. So make sure that you're getting out there early, enjoying your sea day, and then when it starts picking up around 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you might be ready to come back onto the ship and try something different. The same rule is going to apply for Coco Cay. Make sure you're getting out there earlier. I promise you that they will not be coming off the ship very quickly first thing in the morning, but in the afternoon, they will absolutely be gravitating to the Oasis Lagoon and the DJ, the party atmosphere that is out there. And they're going to come back to the ship exactly at 4:30. So when we went to leave at 4:30, there was a huge line of people, about 200 people, still trying to get on the ship because they enjoyed Coco Cay to the fullest and stayed there as absolute long as they could. When you're in Nassau, this is actually a decent time to stay on the ship and enjoy some of the amenities because the college kids actually all got off in Nassau, which I love to see people getting off in Nassau. They were heading over to Señor Frogs and to Junkanoo Beach. So if you're trying to do something cheaper in Nassau, like over to Junkanoo, know that it is going to be a mob scene. I have never seen so many people at Junkanoo as I did this trip. But if you're looking for high energy, I am confident that it would have been there. The last thing that I'll leave you with to have a really good time on a spring break cruise, if you find yourself here, is try not to be judgmental and know that we were all young and we were all living our best life at some point. These kids were absolutely very well respected. I complimented the organizers of this partial sailing or partial charter several times on how well behaved their kids were. Yes, they had some, loudness to them, but at the end of the day, very polite, very respectful, and in talking with my other cruise passengers, we all felt the same way about this group of people. I would gladly come back and do a spring break again, especially knowing some of those best practices that I have. All right, everybody, this is Brandon, the Weekend Cruiser, hoping you are prepared and know when your next spring break cruise is.